This is a basic version. This is typically used when you don't have any specific requirements on the installation other than to put it on a horizontal surface. It doesn't have any specific design requirements. It's sort of brings you the full performance and function. This is typically used when you have your own cabinets and installations, like we have, for example, on this single-arm Yumi, where the C30 controller is tucked away in the cabinet underneath the robot. It's time to assemble this beautiful desktop version to the base C30 controller. The desktop version is used when it will be visible, when you're keen on the visual appearance of the C30 controller. So this is a perfect solution for you. You get the top cover, you get two side covers, left and right, and you get the front panel. So let's start with the disassembly. But first, always make sure that the power is disconnected and the power button is switched off. This is when you open up the enclosure. We get rid of the old one and we will put this colored one on top that is a part of the desktop enclosure. This is Poka-yoke. You can only assemble it in one solution, one direction. So if it doesn't align with the screws and the threaded holes, then you just turn it. So we are done with the top panel. It's time for the side panels. This is the right side panel. And we start with unfolding the Velcro strap on the cables. This is where it fits. Good. And then you use a T10 Torx head and the small M3 screws. Then we'll continue with the left side panel. Unstrap those like this. Unfold. It's a little bit tricky, but it should slide perfectly into position. Tighten them and finish. Before we continue to assemble the front panel, we need to attach the cables on the back side. So we start with the Ethernet port, goes into the management port. We have the X15 pin 4. Make sure you push it all down. And X15 pin 3. Make sure they are properly attached. And we have the flex pendant connector, which goes on the X4. Push it in. It could be a little bit tricky, and twist it clockwise until it's fastened properly. Time for the front cover. This is a front cover. It should be assembled like this. We need to untie the cables with the Velcro straps, loosen them nicely, like this, and we need to connect them. We start on the right side, and on the right side is the flex pendant connectors. No way that you can assemble them in the wrong way, a bit tricky. Insert until you have heard a click, and for the Ethernet cable as well. Click is okay. For the status LED and the management port, we have on the left side one Ethernet cable until it clicks, and one power cable until that one clicks. Next step is to gently push this one, assemble them. Just make sure that the cables are not squeezed in between. Tighten them fully for the last step, to assemble the last screws from the bottom side. Just make sure that they are fully aligned. Like this, and we are finished.